Alabama quarterback competition is heating up, and we are trying to figure out who's going to be QB1 for the Alabama Crimson Tide, man. I am B.Sharpe with the Sharpshooter Sports Talk with my guys, Coach Al and Coach Shawn, man. So we about to break down these guys, Austin Mack and Keelon Russell, and see what their strengths and weakness are, and ultimately determine who should be QB1 for Alabama. So, Coach Al, I'm gonna start with you, my brother. Starting with Austin Mack. What do you think his strengths is?
Austin Mack is he has a stature. First of all, that's what jumps out at you with a quarterback. And let's just say this way: vision is everything for a quarterback. And you can't teach height. He has that. That's from the start. Now, I would say this: the guy's wrapped real tight between his ears because he's persevered. He's followed the board all over the country, and he's persevered. So there's no question he understands playbook. There ain't no doubt about it. I mean, he's been in the system that long. He knows the system in and out. The thing that would be the proof in the pudding with him is under live fire. How is he under the stress of being the guy, the quarterback at Alabama? I'm not that probably guy playing the position. I'm talking about that is probably the third most powerful position in the state. You got the governor, you got the coach of Alabama, then you got the quarterback at Alabama.
Mm-hmm.
Can you handle that kind of pressure? Okay, can he do that? Talent wise, I don't think any question the guy has the skill set to play the position. Okay, so I like him a lot as what he's represented, from a fan's perspective of who this young man is. And in my quarterback, that's what I want: solid people. Okay, strong personality. Okay, in other words, he has to be consistent. Any quarterback, if he's going to be any good, he don't have to be the most talented, but he better be the most consistent if he's going to be the starter.
That's a fact.
Everybody got to rely on him when it's a minute and 20 seconds on the clock. You down by 6, okay? You need a score, and you got one time out and the ball's on your 15-yard line. What does he look like in that huddle on the sideline for everybody to run out to? You nervous? Or are you looking at, hey, let's go get it? Okay, so it's hard to go into any details about the guy because I hadn't been in any practices. I can't say what he looks like in a protracted period. I can't say that. It's purely projection from my perspective. I like him. I think he could start at Alabama based on the little small body of work that we've seen and given the fact that he's familiar with the system. He just got to take his live reps just like any first-year quarterback to see what he's made of.
Coach Shawn, what is your strengths on?
Man, I agree with what Coach Al said. I agree with that, man. I think look no further than what Coach Grubb said about Austin Mack. He said Austin Mack is a human playbook. That's a good thing when you're a quarterback. You got to know, it's like Coach Al said, you got to be smart, man. You got to have it between the ears, just like Coach said. You got to know where to go with the football. We all know Austin Mack has prototypical size. That's a big kid, man. I think that kid like 6'6", something like that. Yeah, and that kid will sling it. He'll throw that rock. And he didn't play very bad against Indiana, considering coming in that, that's a horrible situation to come in against a team like that. Brand new quarterback. He didn't play bad at all, against that level of competition. That kid is smart. I think he got the strongest arm on the team. I don't even think it's close. His sample size is a little bit bigger than Keelon's. And just like Coach Al said, that kid didn't stay for nothing. That kid could have left, could have went anywhere, and probably would have been starting right now. I know the fans love the shiny new toys, but Austin could potentially. We all know there's other quarterbacks who are more athletic, but Austin Mack could potentially be the best quarterback on this roster right now, just for right now. I think if the season were to start today, I think Austin would be the starter. So yeah, I mean, look no further than what the coach said. You know, this kid is a human playbook, and that is a huge, that's a huge compliment from the offensive coordinator that you can get.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. With everything is to like about Austin. He has that all that experience with Coach DeBoer, following him from Washington to Alabama, and clearly he knows the playbook because he's in this competition with them and having that experience just sitting behind those guys. Like I think he was an early enrollee. So when Michael Penix was there, then you behind Jalen Milroe, then Ty Simpson. So you have all that time to just gain knowledge and just getting the reps that you can to get better, but you gaining the knowledge of the playbook. So I think that's a major factor for him. So, but we hyping him up and everything. What are your weaknesses for him?
Well, let me say this in addition. Think about this for a second. Because Shawn, you could talk to us because you came in the college game. You had to come in as a freshman behind a senior running back.
It's
You know what I'm
facts.
saying? You know how it is playing behind guys that got experience. Think about this for a second. He came behind Michael Penix. Okay, he was a 17-year-old, wet behind the ears kind of guy. You can see him on the sideline of some of the games if you watch some of the Washington games and watched how Penix played against Texas, played against Oregon, played against all them top teams. I mean, just throwing dimes. All right. So, and he was drafted what, ninth or 10th overall in the first round. Then he
Yeah.
comes back, he watches Jalen Milroe do the grave digger, bring Alabama back from the dead at Auburn. Okay. And then he has to sit behind Ty Simpson and watch Ty put the team on his back last year and prepare. So he's had three guys in the NFL that he's had to, and they're all three different guys.
Yeah.
Okay, how do I model my game and who was the most effective in this offense on what we want to do? So Keelon doesn't have that draw. He
Yeah.
just doesn't. He hasn't had time in the system like him. And time in the system does mean something. But again, still comes down to when the bullets are live and you got protracted exposure to the game. Can you prepare week in, week out? Can you stack practice up? Can you be consistent? Can he do that other than having just a book knowledge of the game? Can you play the game with all that information in your head? Can you let it flow out of you where you can be good at it? Now, his weaknesses, I can't. The only weakness I would say that would be naturally spoken to is his foot speed over Keelon.
Yeah.
His ability to be a twitchy kind of guy, that short area quickness. No, he doesn't have that Keelon has. But he's not a robot either.
Yeah.
He's not a statue. He's a big dude. Think about Josh Allen up in Buffalo.
That's a fact.
Okay, think about that right there. Okay, is he as athletic as Josh? Slightly not, I would say, based on what I've seen of him. But from what the coach said, like what Shawn said, he said about Austin Mack was a human playbook. The coach said he got better at extending plays over the summer.
Yep.
Okay, so since this system does not require the quarterback to run a lot of called QB runs, they're not expecting it out of him anyway. But if he can extend the plays, if he sees everybody playing man, they got their back turned to him. He see grass, he's gonna take it. We saw that against Indiana.
Kid can run. Yeah.
He took off, man. So I mean, don't count this kid out, man, because he's a competitor. Otherwise, he would have left. So weaknesses, I don't. Okay, and I'll try to be brief. I don't know what he is from a weakness in terms of making all the throws accurate.
Yeah.
I will say this: in this system, you watch. I think that if I'm charting all the plays, coach, over the summer, charting all the plays in camp, and the bullets flying, semi. This is what I'm after right now. Who can make completions with 50-50 balls?
Yeah.
Who's the guy that's hitting it in there the highest? Okay. Who's not turning the ball over? Who's taking
Who's
care of
not
the rock?
turning the ball over? Yep.
And here is the big one. Who is completing the in-breaking routes more consistently in the intermediate zone?
Yeah.
Because if they say that they're going to run the ball this year, that means that the play action is there, which means that the intermediate zone is there, okay, which is where your chunk plays are going to come from. You know, we really saw Jeremy Bernard do that last year with some consistency.
Yeah.
Ryan wasn't doing it. Isaiah was outside. Ryan was outside. It was Jeremy Bernard over the middle, deep and intermediate. Okay. In this offense, what I've seen prior to him coming and looking at the Washington sample size, I'm looking at that. Okay. Because that's where teams, when you look at Michael Penix, when he was running up for the Heisman, he had over 2,200 yards completed outside the numbers.
Yeah.
Okay. So what team's going to roll to, right? They're going to take that away from you because they know you ain't looking on, down the middle.
Of course.
What happens when now you can take advantage of that part of the field and kind of make them safeties cheat a little bit, inside, and your tight ends hit them up seam route. I think that's who that guy is going to separate himself in this competition. With those factors right there. That equates to moving the chains, stretching the field vertically like the boy likes to do.
Yeah.
What you think, Coach Shawn?
I agree with Coach Al 1,000%. He hit it from all angles, man. I really don't know what his weaknesses is. I hadn't seen enough of his sample size. Now we can sit here and do the basic. His release might be a little slow. Well, quite a bit slower than Keelon as far as his release. We all know he's not Michael Vick, you know what I mean? But he's not Matt Ryan either. You know what I mean? He can get out of there. That kid is he's big. And I know sometimes we get lulled to sleep about his size. But the kid is, sneaky athletic. So if I had to say any of his weaknesses, I really can't put my finger on it because his sample size is just not big enough. But I agree with Coach Al. I think Austin Mack, to me, really extenuates what DeBoer wants to do. What we've seen over the last 2 years.
Yeah.
Grubb, DeBoer, whoever you want to put it on, what they want to do. Austin can stand there and throw that thing, man. He really can. Flat-footed. He can put that thing out there. And to Coach Al's point, if that's what he likes to do, go outside the numbers, you definitely don't want a quarterback that's going to be late throwing across the middle, throwing anywhere in the middle. That's just that's bad all day long, every day. But I really, really, really believe this kid, with being so long in this system, I think it's his time, man. I really do. I don't doubt, I don't doubt Austin like a lot of people do. From what I read on A-Day, Keelon's line was super long and Austin's wasn't, So people like that. I hope Austin don't take that personal because everybody loves the shiny new toy. Everybody.
Don't it sound like a situation when with Matt Jones and Bryce Young?
Yeah. Everybody liked the shiny new toy, man. But listen, Mac just sitting there waiting his time. I saw that kid, bro. I hadn't forgot that Tennessee throw to Rico Scott flat-footed about 35 yards on a rope. If he has time, this kid will be deadly. So I don't really know what his weaknesses is yet. We could easily say the obvious, but I'm not even sure that if that's a weaknesses, if that can be considered a weakness just because we hadn't really seen enough sample size to really say yet.
Well, since we talked a lot about Mac, let's move on to Keelon. See what you guys love. So you can basically, on this one, you ain't even got to wait on me. You can say what you love and what you dislike, or just a weakness, or what you guys see as coaches. I'll start with you, Coach Shawn. I'll start with you.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, we all know Keelon is super athletic, man. And this kid is deadly throwing the football, right? I still think he could be a little bit more accurate to me on his intermediate balls. To me, the little small sample size I seen, Just like they called Austin the human playbook, they called this kid dynamite in a bottle. You know what I mean? So they say this kid can beat you anyway but loose. You know, you have a breakdown in coverage, Keelon can extenuate you. You playing man, just like Coach Al said, this kid can take off and make you pay for it. I think with Keelon, though, if he starts, they'll run a little bit. I think they will run a little more RPO with this kid. I really do believe that, because I think that's when you can get the full effect of his talent, you know, rather than just straight drop back all the time or, you know, things of that nature. I think if you RPO and Keelon really succeeds, you know, he ran that in high school a lot. So it's just going to be interesting, man. This kid has all the tools. He's really anticipatory with his throws. You know, it'll be interesting to see how does he handle road games. How does really both of these quarterbacks handle road games?
We got some big ones.
Yeah, we got some big ones, man. Keelon, no matter how you want to slice it, whether he starts or not, I hope that young man understands he's the future, the close future of Alabama football. Even if Mack comes out and have a great year, Mack is probably going. This is his 4th year in college. He's probably gone to the NFL, and the rest of the years, next 2 years, be Keelon's hands down. So, lightning in a bottle, dynamite in a bottle. This kid has all the tools. I love to see him get by 15 more pounds heavier if he's gonna be running that thing like that. But strengths are through the roof, Coach Al. This kid has all the tools to be dynamic, to be great, and I hope the coaching staff do what they do to put him in those positions.
Yeah. You know, Coach Son, you know, you mentioned Tua. And you look at the comparison between Tua and Jalen Hurts. Tua really, his freshman year against Georgia in that championship game, came out slinging. Jalen was hesitant.
Yeah.
Mentality, because it had been hammered into Jalen, take care of the football by Nick Saban. Take care of the football, take care of the football, you know, play the odds, play the percentages. Tua come out there slinging that thing. He's a gunslinger. And I could be wrong, but these two guys give off that vibe to me. Whereas Keelon truly believes in his arm.
Yeah.
And he's going to really try to extend and make plays. Because, you know, remember, Tua took the sack because he was trying to make plays. And even the next year, he came in, Tua making plays. That's how he got hurt in the Mississippi State.
Yeah.
You know, trying to extend. And that's what gets Tua, guys like him who have ultimate confidence in their arm. I can fit any throw. I can make any throw. I can throw anybody open. I can, you know, you get a little bit too overconfident in that arm. And I think that's probably where in Keelon's game, he was turning it over in practice, in the throwing section, and things like that, because he was too confident in his arm instead of just, hey, look, read the defenses, make the throws, play at that level and be consistent. Whereas Mack is going to play within the system. You know, he seems to give me that psyche. Hey, I see where, you know, Ty took care of the ball. I see where Michael Penix took care of the rock. He had all those examples. I see where Jalen Milroe had issues, you know, with sometimes things, you know, that kind of thing. But with Keelon, he has what you can't teach.
Yeah.
And that's the thing that makes it so intriguing. Those quarterbacks, you know, the kid out of Oregon, what's his name? Dante Moore. Yeah, Dante Moore. You look at the kid down in Texas A&M.
Martell Reed.
Playmakers, man. You know, and Keelon Russell is the same kind of dude. You know, you don't put a restriction on him. You let him play. I mean, you got a thoroughbred like that. You don't want to overcoach him, man. You know, you want to let his creative abilities come out where he's on the field. I'm the best player on the field. You want that joker walking on the field like I'm him. Y'all know. Okay? Like Lenore Sellers. I was talking to Brisky earlier today. Lenore Sellers by himself almost 2 years in a row almost beat us because we couldn't get him on the ground.
Yeah.
Okay? The thing that Austin Mack will probably be able to do that Keelon probably won't be able to do because of his physical stature is take those hits in the pocket. Mack would probably be a little bit more durable because of his sheer bulk and size, and he could probably play with guys around his feet a little bit more than Keelon could. Keelon probably more comfortable in a cleaner pocket than Mack. You know, those little bitty things that we're looking at in practice, okay, and we're putting them in those situations. Can you complete the throw under pressure? Okay, because that's what's going to happen in the SEC. Teams will bring pressure to see can you complete a higher percentage of throws under pressure. And if you can't, they're going to keep bringing it. So you putting these guys in those situations. Now, I think that in that situation, Coach Shawn, his escapability factor is bigger than Mack's, which is probably going to help a line that's still coming together. Okay.
Yeah.
But Alabama has a luxury of 2 quarterbacks that are starting caliber guys. So now what you can do, since you mentioned the RPO game with Keelon, is to actually let him be a +1 player a lot more. Because, you got Mack sitting on the bench right there. If something happens, he can come in. I think it's a luxury to have 2 guys.
That's a fact. Yeah.
Look what happened to Alabama with Tua and Jalen 2 years in a row.
Yeah.
That's what I said, man. This is a good thing because I felt like the first 2 years in DeBoer's tenure, it was like we knew Jalen was going to be the quarterback for obvious reasons, and we pretty much knew Ty was going to be the guy, and Ty went out there and did his thing. But this year really feels like a competition. We really don't know for sure. The only people that really know is really probably Coach DeBoer and Ryan Grubbs, is how we can have all these predictions all we want. We just talking about it and going by what we think. And of course, I'm lean on you guys more as coaches because you know the nuances of this game. But just the simple, like we can give out all these predictions and everything. They probably want Austin Mack to win this job, probably, because he's the returning, pretty much he's a senior for the most part. But is he going to take the job? They really probably just want to see who's going to take the job from the other person. Like, no, this is my team. You can wait another year, Keelon. Or Keelon just like, oh, no, I came in here and I planned on being the starting quarterback at Alabama for 2 to 3 years and then go on to the league. So it's really just who want to take the bull by the horn. And I'm loving every second of it, man, because everybody giving out all their predictions and everything. I feel like really nobody really knows. And that's why I love these type of conversation that we have on the daily, because it's just like we just trying to we just enjoying the competition of the whole thing. But at the end of the day, no matter who's the starter, we just want to win. And that's the only thing that matters at the end of the day. I don't care if Keelon got to wait a whole nother year. If Austin can get the job done to lead us to a national championship, hey, it is what it is. But what's you guys' final thoughts before we get up out of here?
Well, let me say this. You remember when Carson Beck went down, and what's the man's name? They started quarterback, Georgia's quarterback.
Gunnar Stockton.
Yeah.
When Stockton had to come in, number 2 guy always got to be ready.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, the thing that nobody's talking about is the number 3 guy.
That's fact.
Okay.
Because the number 2 guy get hurt. I mean, the number 1 guy got hurt. The number 2 guy.
Number 2.
Guess who's number 2? Yeah. Fact.
So Jet Tamala is the guy we really should be talking about. I mean, the story with Keelon and Mack, that's been the story since last year. Even when Simpson was there, who's going to be the guy next year? Okay. Yeah. Now all of a sudden they signed Jet Tamala, who has just a stronger arm as those. If you watch this tape, and he's no stature either. He's a big kid. He can run. So he just sit there doing this thing. So now, that's it. I think if it's close, I think they're going to go with Mack. Not Mack, but Keelon. If it's close. If the statistics in the camp are close, in terms of, yes. And I'm saying this. If they're even Steven as far as turning the ball over, if they're even Steven in terms of stats, in terms of moving first downs, moving the chains, because think about this for a second. And it seems kind of counterintuitive to think that Alabama's a ball control team. But if you look at what this guy's MO, meaning DeBoer, they've used this offense to have time of possession. Alabama was one of the leaders early on in the season when they were hot and on that run, time possession. So if those things are equal in the camp coming out, I think you put Russell in because of the X factor. You know, what he could do to defenses because of his speed, his athleticism, and his, how should I say, in other words, he gets outside the pocket like Jaden Daniels. Yeah. Think about what that guy did. Okay, and Keelon has the same kind of skill set. You just cannot prepare for a guy with his unpredictability like that who can throw it all over the field because he can maneuver and extend. Okay, I don't think you take that away from your team if all things are equal. If all things are equal, that's my caveat. All things have to be equal. Okay, if all things are equal, I think you're going to go with Russell. But if they're not, then you can show to Russell, here's why Mack is the guy. He edged you out. You're going to play a lot this year. Yeah. Okay, but based on this first game, we got to get out the gate. We got to beat Kentucky. We got to do, we got to get out the gate. And he edged you out. It's competition. The numbers don't lie. Film don't lie.
Coach,
keep it 100,
That's facts.
Yeah.
That's facts, man. It's perfectly said.
Yeah.
For me, man, it comes down to Keelon's A-Day, because that's the most I ever seen him play, versus Mack's mop-up duty. And I get it, man. A-Day is structured. Keelon made some great passes. It was structured to where they couldn't really sack him. I think both of these guys are going to need a heavy dose of the running game to help them. I think if we don't have some sort of semblance of a run game, both of these kids are going to struggle. I really believe that. Yeah. A-Day versus mop-up duty. At the end of the day, man, for me, the truth is in the details. I think Mack stayed for a reason. I just do. Yeah. I just got a feeling about that kid, man. I think Mack is going to start. Keelon may finish. Like Coach Al said, that kid may come in and do some things to make it where you can't take him off the field. But I really believe Mack, this kid didn't stay for no reason. I really believe this coaching staff thinks this kid has potential to be great. Mm-hmm. I really believe it, man. I seen this kid come in against Indiana in some horrible situations, all out blitzes. They coming to get him, and he made. He struggled at times, as we all know, a fresh quarterback will in that situation against a team of that magnitude in that game. But I just don't think this kid stayed at Alabama just to watch Keelon play. I just really don't believe it. I think as far now, we don't know what the season will bring. Let's just like Coach Al said, but I believe the first game of the season, even if they rotate him, I do believe Mack will start. I think Mack can start.
Yeah, man. Hey, Coach Al. So pretty much, you guys think Austin Mack gonna be the starter, but Coach Al said if it's close, then you go with
that's a fact. Go with the younger kid. Yeah, I agree.
So yeah, man, that pretty much sums it all up. Everybody, man, y'all let us know how y'all feeling. Hold on. Well, Coach Al got something to say. Go
one
ahead.
Thing to say.
Go ahead.
A good scenario. Austin Mack starts, throws for 3,900 yards. Okay. And say, you know what? I'm leaving. And I'm going to Miami next year for $6 million. Because every year Miami gets that fifth-year guy and pay him $6 million. They doing it this year. So I'm just saying, that opens the door for Keelon to come in. Mack stay another year in college, make $6 million, and he would get as a second round draft choice, and do at Carson Beck.
Or maybe even be first round. Ain't no telling, depending on how they get.
It's a funny thing. I just had to throw it in there.
Oh yeah, man. That'd
Miami do that. Okay.
Yeah,
Quarterbacks that look like Mack, they love him. So if that kid come out and have a decent year, you see what they try to do to Penn State quarterback. They just wanted him to be great so bad.
Yep.
Man.
Well, we're gonna see how everything turned out. The season is almost here, and best believe whenever they make announcement for the start of everybody, we will do another video talking about that. So let us know in the comment section who you think going to be the starter and why they should be the starter. And make sure you guys hit that like and subscribe button, and on the road to 2,000 subs, and appreciate you all, and we'll catch y'all on the next one. Peace.